to the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. My name is Anna Devereaux, as most of you know, and I will not be joined by my co-host this week. As our loyal viewers know, she did say an explicit word on the cast last week, so she's under a 1-week probation. But instead, I've got my other wonderful co-host, Nick, who will be joining me tonight.
What's going on, Niner Nation? I am going to do my level best to watch what I say tonight.
Right. And bringing back, we've got Coach Brad. Oh, whoa, Coach Brad. What was that?
I could be a coach. I could be a coach if I needed to be.
You just
be a
coach. But anyway.
And really coming back to us is Coach Court, who's back on the pod this week.
Hey there. I'll also try to watch what I say.
Yeah, this is as transparent as it gets, that you see what happens now. If you slip up, you just don't get to come back.
That's
it.
Tough, you know.
I know. We run a tight ship around here.
I'm tempted to tell everybody the truth about where Maddie is, but I like your explanation so much better. So let's just go with that. She's suspended.
Yeah, she's suspended. That's it. And you know what? And for those of you who really know Madison Knight's story, this wouldn't be the first time that we got suspended for something. So this is us just continuing the trend. So that's all it is.
Hopefully she'll be able to do what she was asked to do in order to get back in good graces and be back.
That's it. That's all it takes. Now it's like we sent her away to a behavioral camp in Iowa or something. And she's in Iowa, but for what, we won't go into detail. So
yeah.
But
we miss her anyway.
Yeah, that is true. But nonetheless, the show must go on. So we're back in action tonight. I guess kind of jumping right in on reflection of the weekend. Let's see, or the week really even. So we had Boston U in a thrilling overtime win, extra innings, which was super exciting. I think we should just start there, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty of the weekend.
Yeah, I should have gone back and refreshed my memory on exactly what happened, but no, Boston was a great game. It was exciting. They went up early. We fought back and went ahead. I think they went up by 4. We came back and it was 5-4, and then they went back up 6-5, and then all of a sudden they were 9-6, and then we were able to score 3 in the bottom of the 7th to keep it going, and we were able to win in the 8th. So just a great start to the week against a really quality team. Great pitcher there at Boston. Who's a veteran who has had success against the Charlotte team last year. And, just really love to, see that trend of us just continuing to fight and continuing to put a lot of good at-bats together up and down the lineup in that game. And I think it was so long ago. I know Tegan had a great game. Jenna had the winning hit. So, I'd have to go back and look at it more, but just love to see what we were able to do there. Aubrey pitched well. Brooke came in and, finished the game to just, again, start our week off, on a good level. Like we were close to being, really disappointed there, and just had things bounce our way, and we were able to get a quality win to start the week.
No, it was awesome, and we had visitors too.
Yes.
Well, okay, so we had visitors. We're going to get into that. We had visitors. Yeah. One thing I want to say, I want to follow up on an actual softball-related comment. We can talk.
Okay, fine.
If we have to talk about softball, we could do that for a second. 8 earned runs on Casey Ricard.
Yeah.
8 earned runs on Ricard. It seems like we've played Boston 100 times over the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And I think she pitched every time. This way, I know that's not true, but this way it feels. I don't think we had ever gotten 8 earned runs on her combined. So to break through and to be able to have that kind of performance, because she definitely shut us down last year, to have that kind of performance against an outstanding pitcher was fantastic. To echo your point on the offense, Tegan was 3 for 4 with 4 ribbies. Jenna was 3 for 5 with 2 ribbies. Yes, and London was 3 for 4 with 2 ribbies. The 2 bombs. Yeah, so the offense was all over it on Wednesday night. But
we got to see our new lights dance a little bit in the night when we hit the home run. So it was awesome. Yeah.
So let's talk about the outfield activities a little bit, because I gotta say, your friends, your pals from the deep end at Clemson, who apparently live here locally, always go down to the Clemson softball games. They have this rather elaborate rig that fits in the back of their like their Silverado 1500 pickup truck. It basically looks like a boat with the bow and everything, and the rail and the ship's wheel, the ship's horn.
Yeah.
If you were at the softball game, you heard the ship's horn. In fact, if you were at the baseball game happening at the same time, you also heard the ship's horn. We went over there to check this thing out. They decided to set up, and Cord, I think you said that they set up at like 3 o'clock.
2:30. They got there to start setting up for the 5 p.m. game. 5 p.m.
Yeah. So 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, first pitch, and they're in right field at 2:30. We went out there and saw, I think we watched like 3 innings with them before we went to baseball. Baseball dismantled Davidson, and we came back to watch the comeback and to watch the walk-off. But I don't even know that I can adequately describe the vibe out there, because they blow that boat horn. They have cowbells. They play music the entire time. It's part karaoke bar, and a bubble machine. Bubbles are blowing everywhere, going all over the field, everywhere. There were bubbles blowing all over campus, and this is just a. And they said, Courtney, I don't know if you know this or not, but the record for number of people they've had on that platform is like 19.
I didn't know the number.
That's what they said the record was. We didn't get anywhere near that, but Kevin and I went and hung out in the deep end and rang a cowbell or two and sort of soaked in some of the atmosphere. And man, that's Anna. It was intense. That's just that's the word we kept coming back to.
What I'm gathering here is that we need to get one of our own. Here's my thing is, if you're gonna basically put into expression that on a casual Wednesday, I can be a part of some bubble guns and a party platform or whatever. I mean, and softball all at once. This is like it's like you're living in a simulation. You know, how do you even come up with that? It's like we got to brand one of those. We have to.
And these folks are so hospitable. I mean, they just, anybody that walked up was welcome to jump up on the platform with them. They had beverages, some food, beverages. The between the music, the boat horn, the cowbells, the bubble machine, and there just happened to be a softball game going on too, which they were very much in tune to. Kevin and I watched the walk-off from the deep end.
That's
and
awesome.
The truck was just
bouncing.
Yeah. It is unlike anything I've ever experienced, Anna. I don't know another way to put it.
I mean, the shocks, the engineer in me just thinks about the structural support of this thing. And I feel like the shocks in that truck alone should be some kind of advertisement. Like I mean, just thinking about how you said, I think the maximum number of people they had on there, 19.
19.
I mean, that in itself that's a load, and I'm impressed nonetheless. That's all.
Crazy.
I'm impressed.
I mean, you're talking about, big sizes of people, but rough math. We're talking about over 3,000 pounds.
Oh yeah.
People, we're easily over 3,000 pounds, maybe more in the neighborhood of 4,000 pounds, on the bed, bouncing on the bed of a pickup truck.
I gotta know though, were the Charlotte shirts and gear that they were wearing, was that a gift, or did they go out and get them themselves?
I can answer that.
Okay.
All of that green gear that you saw out there was actually St. Patrick's Day Clemson gear.
You're kidding. From the pictures, I swear, from the pictures, it looked like Charlotte gear.
It did, but it was Clemson. But it was.
I saw a Tiger Town Tavern shirt in there. That's a bar, out there in Clemson. So it was definitely they got the green on. They knew what they had to do there, and so it looked the part. And it was perfect for St. Patty's Day too, that we're celebrating right now. But yeah, there you go. Yeah. But no, the deep end, the people are awesome. Rob and his family, the Mitchells, they live here in Charlotte. They're big Clemson fans, and they started coming out, bringing the truck out last year at Clemson. And they were at every home game. I know Clemson didn't play a midweek game this past week when we did, so it just kind of worked out perfectly, and we had a great night for it. It was beautiful. Couldn't have asked for better weather, and it was awesome to see them come out and support. They're kind of some people that fell in love with softball as they watched it more and more. And I think that you're seeing that when, you put a good product out on the field and it's exciting. People just really want to get involved, and they want to have their own, they're creating a whole afternoon and evening of fun for themselves, and they get to watch softball and hang out with their friends. And, they love, I think what's cool is like they kind of have become part of Clemson softball, like the extension of it. And I think, you saw them out there this weekend or on Wednesday, and it was awesome to see how, they were cheering for our girls and, wanting success for us and wanting us to do well. And, I think after the game, the girls ran over to them and, they did the 49ers back and forth with them. So it was all really cool to see. And, we love the support, and they definitely do it right. They don't, oh man, I almost was going to cuss. They don't do anything halfway,
Easy, coach.
They don't want to see halfway out there. Yeah. So it was awesome to see. And, for a little bit there, we were laughing kind of with our girls, like for a little bit there, the game was kind of ugly for us, and we kept going back and forth with it. And, again, to have the explosive, Tegan with 2 bombs, London with a bomb, and, Jenna having a great day and having a walk-off, and having them out there, just electric out, at the Sioux. So it was really cool to see, and kind of see how we had such a great night with them there. And hopefully they make it back, or hopefully Niner Nation gets themselves a platform on their truck and gets things going out there.
I agree. Look, Nick, I forget what kind of car you drive.
I have a truck.
My Kia Sorento can't support the weight of a platform, but if I got to do it, I'll pull some strings. I'll figure out how to make it work.
I'm sure that you don't know anyone in Moxville with a big old truck.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
How would that make sense?
But hey, I've seen where you tailgate for football. That the Reynolds crew has a pretty big rig too.
They do.
we could just put an RV out there in right field, and I think it'd work out. But
Same effect, right? I think so.
Yeah, it was. I think they had fun, and I think we'll see them again when it lines up. Hey, I think they appreciate the fact that they were going to be home 30 minutes later.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I mean that's a haul from Clemson, especially on a weekday.
Yeah.
Maybe we could at some point, maybe we could do some kind of like custody agreement, like where we get them on the weekdays and Clemson gets them on the weekends.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see what we can work out.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. The Mitchells, awesome people. Can't say enough about their hospitality. But yeah, Anna, if they come back, you got to get out there because you really just can't. You can't describe it. You just have to experience it.
You got to feel it. I haven't gotten to see a game in that rig. I've been out there post game or pre game to go say hey, and post game to say what's up and all of that. But I haven't been able to actually watch a game in that setting. I think it would be pretty wild.
I wish we could have seen you out there like calling signals, from the rig.
Yeah,
I think that would have done it for us.
I'll run out there during the game.
Yeah.
The girls in the dugout had to be just like soaking it all in. Like, what in the world is going on right now?
Just taking a look.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
And to your point, Courtney, I mean, they have really gotten into softball. I mean, they know ball.
Yeah.
They know the game, and so it's really cool to see their passion. And they're not just. I mean, they are out there for a good time, no doubt about it. But they know ball too, so they're a lot of fun.
Yep, they're entertaining, but so is the product on the field. So it's you get you get everything in that setting. So it's cool, and it's great that they were able to make it out to a game.
And what a show they got!
Fireworks. Scored some runs.
I love it. It's fun. That's anything that takes you into extra innings like that. I don't care how that game actually ends up. There's obviously cases where you'll have an extra inning game and somebody goes up by 5 runs and it's like, well, that was fun while it lasted, but I feel like just the anticipation of like, all right, let's drag this thing out, may the toughest win.
For us, we've had some big comebacks, and North Texas, we had a big comeback, and the Boston game was kind of the same. We came back, they went ahead, and you don't get that many times, or it's rare to be able to come back from 3 runs down in the last inning. But it was exciting, and to tie the game and then to go into the 8th inning, knowing like I think our the lead, top of the lineup was coming up in the 8th, and you feel good like, hey, we can, if we keep them here, we can find a way to score a run the next inning. And Brooke gave us a good inning in the 8th, and then we got 2 outs. Tegan got on base and Jenna hit her in just like that. So it was exciting to end the game that way, and just to have something so exciting, and builds momentum, builds confidence for everybody involved. And just, a great game, in the midweek, and a competitive game in the midweek, which we love.
It is. It's awesome. Well, good. Well, I think, softball, it's a long season. You play lots of games, but there's ones like that I think are definitely important to just put in your back pocket, to have to carry you on. I just remember when I was playing, we would always kind of reference just never forget what winning feels like, and I think even through some hard moments or long weekends or whatever it'll be, those kind of feelings and having those kind of experiences and everything are kind of what keeps you moving on to the next one. Because, we had a really fun, great, exciting win on Wednesday, and then battled a pretty tough weekend too. So, just again, something to keep the girls moving forward, have a little chip on their shoulder going into this next week. But speaking of this past weekend, Friday was a close game, ended up dropping 2-3 on that one. But, I think we started the weekend out, at least in a pretty good sense. I was able to catch the first part of that game live, which was fun. But, then it just kind of fell into a little bit tougher of a fight and on the doubleheader on Saturday. So kind of walk us through the mentality of the team on Friday and then how you started the day Saturday too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you kind of said it, like winning is hard. You got to really celebrate when you have those wins and you have those days that go your way. And, we've been on the good and the bad side of, comebacks. And, that kind of was what happened to us on Friday. We had a 2-run lead going into the 7th. And, Brooke pitched a gem. She had given up one hit all night on Friday until the 7th. And the one hit was a swinging bunt. Just the 7th happens, leadoff walk, and, we get 2 outs, but then they just string 3 hits together and all extra bases. And it happens really fast sometimes. But, again, we started out, we scored in the first inning. I think, we left a few runs out on the bases. I feel like, we made a few mistakes that might have cost us, a run here or there. But, we played well. Tegan hit another home run, kind of just staying hot from the game against Boston. And, you feel pretty good when you're going into the 7th 2-0 with your pitcher pitching, a shutout and a really good game. But winning is hard. Finishing is hard, especially when you're, facing really great teams and great hitters. And, you just have to kind of make every pitch count. And really the game's not over till it's over. And, you can't forget that. You can't start, your mind does things sometimes where you're like, okay, we're going to win, or you start counting outs or whatever it may be. And you just, it's a good reminder to stay in the moment, stay, pitch by pitch, and try to, stay present rather than look ahead or look behind, whatever the case may be. So definitely a hard way to lose on Friday night. And, I feel like, if we had more time, we probably are able to put another run or 2 on the board. But, just that's where the game is. You're out of time. You've got 1/2 inning, and, we just weren't able to get that run back. We've done all year where we fought really hard. But, it's the way the game goes. And, again, just hard to swallow a loss like that. And, we came back the next day. And I don't really feel that loss, bled into Saturday, but obviously Saturday we just didn't have a very good day. Again, we're facing a really good opponent. USF is always dangerous. They've got hitters. They can play defense, and they've always got good pitching. And at some point you can't always play from behind. You can't always expect to make these big comebacks. I think what's awesome about our team is that we believe that we can. We believe that we're in the game, no matter kind of what the score looks like, what the scenario looks like. But we just didn't really have an answer on Saturday for both games. I think both games were kind of a similar story. We got down early, and we were able to put a couple runs on the board here and there, but just we weren't able to shut anything out. It was just they had our number. They hit the ball. We made some mistakes, but a lot of it was just they hit the ball where we weren't, and they made us pay for mistakes that we left over the plate. And I think that we could have done a better job making some adjustments in the box and putting swings together, especially in that first game. Felt like we were kind of out front a lot and just not being patient hitting. And I think, when you are down, sometimes you can kind of get in that mentality where we got to get it done now, and get rushed. And, you got to do the opposite. You got to breathe. You got to make sure that you're controlling your at bat. So, again, it was unfortunate that we played 2 that day, because I just think, we tried to bounce back, but we didn't have it that day. And, again, they just had our number and frankly just beat us, pretty solidly. So, for us, it's just a day and a weekend to learn from. Winning is hard, and the game will humble you really quickly. And, it does, at times. So, I think for us, we just got to keep learning. And, in the end, we got to bounce back. We've got a game tomorrow against Radford, who's got some, quality wins this year, and another program that, has new leadership, and, they've done well this year. Kind of similar to us in that 500 range at the moment. And, they look like they can pitch, they can hit a little bit. So I know it's going to be a big battle tomorrow. And for us, getting back on the road all week at Radford, and then obviously we're going to FAU down in Boca, and a team that started off the year. I mean, they've had a great start to the year, but they're undefeated in conference right now after 2 weeks, and it's going to be a challenging week for us, and a week that for us, want to see us bounce back and want to see us. How are we going to handle the adversity that we've been dealt? How are we going to take the next step forward as individuals and as a team? And where are we going to go from here? So excited to see that, this week, and know that we've got our work cut out for us.
Dang, Coach, you covered everything. I guess all that's left to do is just close this out. Good night, everybody.
Okay.
I want to ask you a question. And it's I'm really approaching this from more of a philosophical point of view. It's going to sound like I'm asking specifically about Friday night, but I'm really not trying to. Just kind of trying to get inside your thought process. So you're managing, in managing pitchers, and in a situation like Friday, Brooke has put in an awesome performance. And she ends up going the distance, didn't end up going her way, but you're in the dugout. You said in real time, it all happens fast. But in real time, like not specifically trying to say like, well, on Friday night I was thinking, but just in general, like, how do you walk through your thought process? Like when you're watching a pitcher do what Brooke did, and she's getting deep in an outing, and you're sitting there trying to decide, I want to show my pitcher that I trust them, versus do I need to go a different direction or what? Just again, in general, kind of walk us through your philosophical process, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm still kind of figuring out where the line is, and obviously a lot of input from the staff as a whole, but obviously talking with Alyssa Billadu, our pitching coach, a good bit about just like where she's at. And I think she's a little bit more technical than me with the pitchers and like what their pitch is actually doing. But I think, if you talk about Friday night, I find it very hard to pull a pitcher in a situation like that where, she's, again, throwing a one-hitter through 7. I mean, she literally had a one-hitter with 2 outs in the 7th. Like, right. And then, again, it was a swinging bunt that was a hit. So, to me, she's cruising. And, Brooke, she can walk some people at times. And, she had some walks early in the game, and we were able to get out of those situations. So, I think as a staff, when you walk people, I mean, leadoff walks, we talk, like they usually hurt you. And, it did. And I think too, you're sitting there and you're playing with a 2-run lead, not just a 1-run lead. But we've seen Brooke get out of situations like that. And we've seen all of our pitchers get out of tough situations. But, for me, I guess in that situation, you're sitting there and it's like, okay, yeah, we have the walk, but after the walk, we got two outs, runner at second base, up by 2. Again, with a team that's had 1 hit, and first pitch, I think it was whack, and it was down the right field line, and London put a good run on it, and she had a great effort. I think that's one that she probably wants to go back and have a redo, because I think we've seen her make plays like that, and I think she's plenty capable. But obviously a tough play, and especially in that situation. But you go triple, and you still. At that point, it was going to be the top of the lineup, and Brooke had handled the top of the lineup pretty well, up to that point. And I think you can get into all the analytical stuff about, I don't know, the 3rd, 4th, 5th time through the lineup. But, when you have a pitcher that's pitched really well and, help get you there, you want them to be able to finish the game. And I think, we just, again, it's hit, and then that was kind of it. So we're trying to feel it out, and again, discussion about just like, what are you thinking here? Like, okay, want to get through this batter, want to get through the next batter, whatever it may be, and just trying to trust my gut in those instincts, and trust what Alyssa's saying, trust what we're seeing. And I think there's also conversations with the pitcher, conversations with the catcher, sometimes even more than the pitcher, just like what the catcher's seeing and what their ball's doing. Is it actually moving? Is it not? Is it fat? Like, just trying to get as much information as we can to make the best decisions. And again, I want to put the girls in the best spot to be successful. And we're a work in progress, and still kind of trying to feel out those things. And I think regardless, like, you're not always going to make the best decision. And even if it is the right decision, like I would stand by, like, I would keep Brooke in that game, and let her finish that, just with the way she threw. Like, I don't have any regrets about taking her out or leaving her in that situation. Like, it was her game to go win or lose,
Yeah. And again, I definitely not approaching that from like a Monday morning quarterback kind of standpoint. I just love to hear coaches talk about, their philosophy and what they're doing in that moment. As I tell people all the time, they talk about, well, why did this coach do that? Well, they probably did that because they didn't think it would work. I mean, but it's of course you're trying to make the best decision you can within your control. But yeah, I appreciate the honesty on that. I just love to hear coaches talk about the psychology of it, really, as far as what you're going through in the dugout, watching these events unfold in real time, and you are trying to make the best decision you can to put yourself in position to win. And yeah, I just appreciate you sort of sharing with us a little bit about your process there.
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree. Like, I like hearing it from other people too. So I totally understand. And, everybody's got a different philosophy or different way of thinking of things. And, we're still trying to figure out the best timing, the best thing. But, in the end, decisions are decisions, and what happens, it's going to happen. And, even if it's the right decision, it doesn't always mean it's going to work out. Just, that's part of it. That's playing the game. That's why we love it and we hate it at the same time.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Do what, Nick?
I said it's supposed to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. No, I appreciate hearing your approach too, because the easiest thing in the world, and I mean, I was guilty of it as a player. Even more so now as just a spectator, but you can't help but think mid-game, like, well, why aren't they pulling her? Or why aren't they doing this? Or why are they making this decision? It is just like most things in life. It's so much easier to kind of sit there and criticize if you don't know the ins and outs of everything. And so, I appreciate your transparency with it all, but I think too, it just goes to show at the end of the day, also nobody knows this team better than you do, or than your staff does. And I think it's, it is to fans of any sport out there, it's easy to just kind of be a bug and just want to kind of pester around and give your own opinion. But I think at the end of the day, like, this is, you guys are running a business of a ball club. And and I think we all know, obviously, that you're doing everything you can to put us in a position to win. So it's cool to hear the inside of it. So
yeah, it's cool to unpack a situation and just kind of understand, the ins and outs of it, because there's one thing, if I've learned anything from talking to coaches over the last however many years we've been doing this, is that as someone that sits in the stands, and Anna, you come, like you said, you come from even yet a different perspective, but as someone who sits in the stands, we don't think like they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just, it's a different mentality. And that, the other thing we say all the time is coaches spend more time with their teams than anybody. They know how they're practicing, what their tendencies are, all the stuff. And when you just turn on the game and watch it, you don't know that stuff. So it's really cool. It's one of my favorite things to do on these podcasts, is to try to learn a little coaching psychology.
He wants the playbook.
Yeah.
That's what he's really.
That feels like too much responsibility, Anna. I'm just content to listen to coach's philosophy and learn a little something along the way.
That'll do. That works too. No, that's all good. And I think even too, as the season continues to go on, I mean, we're going into week 3 of actual conference play.
We are now officially halfway through our season. Like the South Florida, we're on the back half now of the 56 games. So it's pretty crazy to feel like you're already there. You still have more weeks left because you don't play as much.
Right.
But we're going into week 3 of conference. So, but yeah, it's crazy to be, through such a bulk of the season. And, we talked about the tough non-conference early and talked about then getting into conference, and, we're in conference now, but we have a lot of tough midweeks within that. But, now we're in the thick of conference, and, this wasn't a great weekend for us in the conference standings, but, we got to go find ways to make up for that going forward, and still understand that everything that we're doing is leading us into, tournament time. So there's just a lot to still look forward to, and to still, be excited and encouraged about from what we've been able to do, and how we've been able to fight, and just where we've come as a team and how much experience we've gotten. And I think that's been huge to just get this experience, whether it's been good or bad, the highs and the lows. Like, we've learned a lot from it, and we've grown closer as a team, and we just got to continue to do that, and make the hard times make us closer, and continue to kind of work together going forward.
And Anna, I am in no way suggesting that all the tough games are about to be behind us, because there are plenty more tough games left. But this weekend, FAU 6-0 in the league, 27-4 overall. This is the biggest challenge since Clearwater, is what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean it's tough.
It's gonna be a dogfight.
Yeah,
at home for FAU.
Yeah, at FAU last season at the Sioux, that was we ended up dropping that series, but that was a dogfight all weekend long too. So it's going to be another one.
Yeah, they're a great team. I mean, they've got multiple arms that are elite, and they've got hitters. They can play defense, and they're going to be at home. So it's going to be a challenge for us. And again, I think the biggest message is just one game at a time, one play at a time. And, we've talked a lot to the girls this year about not being worried about the opponent we can't get caught up in who we're playing. We've got to play, the name on our chest, and we've got to play against ourselves more than anything. And there are going to be days where, that's not good enough and we get beat, but, we've got to focus on us more than the other team and just controlling what we can control, and then let the cards fall how they do.
Tell you what, one worst things that's out of control at FAU are the stadium lights in the outfield during a night game. I mean, I don't know who configured the lights at that stadium, but they had a personal vendetta against any outfielder ever. I mean,
I haven't been there, so
unreal.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah,
I guess
well,
it'll be interesting to see on Friday night there.
It's just so bizarre. So like just the shadows that they create is super weird. Whenever it's dark out there, because I just remember playing there, and it would be mostly just me and Lexi Wagner, and we would look at each other and be like, I think I'm going to be positioned way off. You got to tell me where to put my body to catch this ball. Like we were going back and forth. I mean, I don't think her and I chatted all the time out there, but I don't think we ever talked more than we did those games, because it was like, man, it's going to take all of us to figure out where this ball's actually at. So that's a beast. I'll tell you that.
Got to work together. Love it.
That's right. I know.
What's the deal, Anna? Are we talking about an issue like the lights aren't high enough, or what?
Yeah, and they're not high enough, and I think, like I said, I think they're positioned just a little bit off, and so they're just
at your eyes.
Yeah, and I mean they create the most just bizarre shadows, and it's hard to sometimes get a read on the trajectory of the ball and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you got to laser in on that thing right off the bat, or else it's tough. So, but I've got no doubt you guys will be all right. It only takes one to really see it fly, and then it's all good after that. So.
They don't have cool flashy lights like we do with the Sioux.
They wish. That's right. I know. No, Boca's awesome though, and I think that'll be a good test for us. I think it's going to be an awesome environment. I mean, to me, it's this approach of like, yeah, it's true. They're a great team. This is going to be a fight. They're playing at home. They've got the upper hand. So it's like, all right, why not us? But then let's go. If you've got everybody kind of pointing against you, or whether it's stats wise or that they have the home field advantage. I mean, I think you said it the first time we were ever on the pod. It was like, the game of softball does not care what the name across your chest is. I think there's a possibility for any team to beat any other team. Doesn't matter the ranking, doesn't matter where they come from. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a game, and so I think it's anybody's if you want it bad enough. So I think this is going to be an awesome test, and I'm really excited to watch it. So.
Yeah, you got to play the game to figure out who wins. It doesn't just get decided by who should win on paper. And I think too, like, you got to love the competition. I mean, the big games, I like competing in general, right? But you got to be really excited for the big games and the big weekends and the big series. So, get competitive, and, we got to get ready to fight and just continue to play the brand of softball that we can play, and play like we have the ability. We've shown it, and we've shown that we're capable of competing against the best of the best. And we've shown that we can, we can pitch, we can hit, we can play defense. It's just we got to put them together, and we got to do it together. And this weekend, tomorrow, and this weekend, going to be a good test of that.
Right. Yeah. No, I think so too.
I have an important question to ask from this past weekend. Did anybody actually see one of the disco ball keychains in person?
I got one.
You got one?
Dude, I don't have it here. It's at the office. It was a disco ball on a keychain, and then it had a hanging thing that said Charlotte softball.
And what have you done with that?
I literally took it out of my bag this morning and I put it on like one of the pins. I just hung it up on like the board. So
just a keepsake.
Keepsake.
Yeah, your first disco ball keepsake from Charlotte.
Yes, it wasn't a great disco day though.
Well,
yeah, maybe it was like the curse of the disco ball. We're never having disco balls again.
70s night is over.
Yeah.
Maybe disco died for a reason. Which is fine with me if it wants to stay away. So what time's the bus roll out tomorrow, Coach?
Tomorrow, I believe we're leaving at 11:45 to head up to Radford, 4:00 game. So excited to get up there and again get back to playing, get back to competing, and hopefully we can get that good feeling again.
Have you ever been to Radford before?
I have not. I've been to Virginia Tech, and I know that is very near to Radford, but I don't think I've ever been to the stadium.
I've not been to their stadium. I've been to Radford. It's a little off the beaten path, but
Kari Frederick, she was at Radford last year, so
it was homecoming.
Yep, homecoming. Hopefully she can go off.
It always seems to work out that way, so I'm confident that that's exactly what's going to happen.
Why not?
Knock on wood. Why not? Exactly.
Hey, I didn't even mention Olivia Williams' bomb over the fence
that was
Saturday. It kind of got hidden in all of the day that was, but Liv went big fly over the fence, so we love to see that. Let's get her hot too.
I know she may be little, but she's mighty. I'll tell you that. That's always been.
They go.
Yep. I know it was funny even when I think it was at a camp or something that I'd worked and because Liv and I never played together, but she was at plenty of camps whenever I was there, and I mean she always won the overthrow mile per hour, whatever it was, competition, and I remember I'd just stand there kind of looking at her like, how did that come from? Whatever. I'm not going to ask you questions. That's so impressive. But no, she's a firecracker and it's awesome.
She's a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, we were in the tailgate lot at UNC Wilmington this weekend. And I was talking to some of their folks that had this really nice setup tailgating out in their lot. And the guy just randomly says, a friend of mine has a daughter that plays softball at Charlotte. And I'm like, oh, really? I mean, he was thinking like, yeah, I don't know. Where's this going? Does this guy know anything about Charlotte softball or whatever? He's like, oh, yeah, I know a friend of mine's daughter plays there. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, who's his daughter? He's like, Olivia Williams. And I'm like, oh, late inning Liv. And so we had this whole conversation about Charlotte softball at a UNC Wilmington baseball tailgate.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. So we're, Charlotte softball is everywhere.
Yeah. We're going to be everywhere this week.
We are everywhere and getting in more and more places all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Coach, I guess we need to let you go get some rest so that you can be on a bus tomorrow. And then you got to get ready for Boca after that. So, Anna, you ready to cut it off here?
I think so. This is it. I think you're closing up shop though.
Does the HVAC Barbie feel like she's gotten all her questions answered?
Probably not. But I'll just write them down and save them for next week. So
yeah, save them for next week. You and Maddie
will be back.
Yeah, Maddie will be off her suspension, and y'all can hash that out next week.
Perfect. That'll do it.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. Hopefully you have enjoyed this. And if you do, consider subscribing. Turn on notifications, YouTube, Spotify. The Diamond Niner Gals podcast is in both those places, so check it out. You can also find Diamond Niner Report on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, never TikTok. All right, folks, we hope you have enjoyed this. We hope you are ready for a big week of Charlotte 49ers softball. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight. For Anna, for Coach Courtney, and producer Brad, and even the suspended Maddie Sherrill. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great night, everybody.
Catch you later, Niners.
The Niners.